I don't, sir. See, here's the problem that people seem to understand. I'm not like these other lolcows who say, well, the only way I get views and the only way that I get support is essentially being self-deprecating, making fun of myself constantly, playing games that I know I suck at. That's the only way I can get views and support. So therefore, I have to force myself to do stuff I don't want to do. Urban style individual.
What's up with y'all? Hopefully this video finds you in good spirits, and if not, well, at least you not DSP. And DSP once again has one of his delusional rants. But there's a couple things that I want y'all to pay attention to throughout the course of this video. Number one being is how he speaks in his body language when referring to Cat. And number two, how he responds to people who have legitimate statements to make. They're not trolling. They're not trying to be funny. They're just making what he would like to call factual observations. So let's get into it.
It says people watch Raw Phil because you banned them. They would watch your channel and troll Super Chat, which still counts, but they can't because they're banned. Larry.
Now, we all heard what Larry said because Phil read it, right? And this is something that other people have said over the course of time as well. It's an easy and simple observation to make. It's true. It's just a matter of talking about numbers. Yes, Phil, if you would not have banned everybody, maybe, just maybe, your population on your streams would be a little bit higher. Who knows?
Do you not understand that every channel has basic rules that you must abide by, right? Rules so that everyone can have a nice time, a fun time, so that people can feel safe and that they're not going to be attacked and there's not going to be toxicity. There's an air of, like, you know, control and calm and peace that people like to have when they're watching a live stream, at least mine.
Is that where people are getting with all that begging, all that fake and arbitrary pressure that you're putting on them to hit these fake goals that we know is going to flush down the toilet the second you turn off the stream? Is that the chill and the fun and relaxing that you're talking about? I'm gonna let them continue though.
Maybe there are chaotic streams out there where anything goes, but not mine. Okay? These rules have not all of a sudden come out of nowhere and suddenly shook my streaming community from the core. They've been around forever. Do you get that?
Yes, and that's part of the problem, because oftentimes things don't just go away overnight. There's usually a slow degradation over time, which is what he's referring to. But you just took it the wrong way because you're overly emotional.
So you're making it up like, oh, well, you see, Phil, you're unfair because you just keep banning everyone, and that's why they all went to Raw Phil. No. A bunch of toxic, mentally ill shitbags came into my chats and probably said fucked up stuff, violated the rules that everyone has to abide by, rightfully got banned, and then they ran to someone else to find a place to do their toxic, harmful rhetoric.
Sure. You can frame it like that if you want to, but you still have not made a case that usurps the case that he initially made, which is a lot of what you're experiencing right now is because you like to try to rule things with the iron fist, even though the things that you're fighting against is inevitable, which means it's not a fight worth taking up. Yet here you are.
I'm okay with them not being here. You get it? I don't need their blood money. I don't need people to come to the stream and be like, oh, here's a super chat, but by the way, it's doxing you. Or it's something racist or sexist or horrendous or some fucking awful personal insult. No one needs that. I don't need blood money from these dumb fucks.
What in the world does he mean when he says blood money? Well, I know what he means, right? We all know what he means. But this is just another example of him overly sensationalizing something so he can try to make a point that's really not there. There's no such thing as blood money on goddamn YouTube, Phil. What are you talking about?
See, you're misunderstanding. There's a difference between people were watching the content here and I was making money on it versus people were actually doing super chats and insulting. That's different. I don't want insulting super chats. I don't, fuck that. But the fact that people were actually watching the content here and I was making ad revenue on it and it was helping my channel and everything, that's why I was making the content. That's why I was rage baiting with multiplayer games, fighting games, Dark Souls style games. Now, what's the incentive of me to do that content if someone else makes the money?
So are you saying that you were purposely acting like that in order to generate revenue? You got to be very careful with the things that you say, because you are still approximating that behavior today. Now, this would be very different if what you were referring to is a starch and huge contrast from what you're doing and how you're acting now. But we know that's not the case.
Zero. So why the fuck would I make it? My actual fans don't want it. They're bored of it. They outright told me that last night, that they're bored of that content. Do something different. The feedback I'm getting is, instead of making that content, make chill content, right?
Well, Phil, according to you, that's what you've been doing this whole time, right? So you telling me just last night, that's when the chill switch got switched on now? So now all of a sudden it's chill stream. So what was all this prior to the Kino Casino arc, post Kino Casino arc with the whole I'm back to the chill positive vibe? So that was a bunch of nonsense too? See, this is what I mean when I say Phil does not even take 5 seconds before he responds to something. And because he doesn't take 5 seconds to think about what he's going to say before he says it, oftentimes the things that come out of his mouth don't make any sense. And they often end up hurting him in whatever crusade he's on, opposed to helping him.
Do a chill with Phil stream, build Legos, play a game that's more relaxing that we can interact and talk during a lot. And it doesn't always have to be a super chill game. It could be a horror game, like what we're talking about. Maybe pick a horror game off of Steam and interact with the audience, but also, get some scares and stuff. See what I'm saying? But you're completely misinterpreting. Maybe there is a group of people that got banned because they are mentally ill shitbags who broke the rules here, and now they're on Raw Phil streams. Good for them. I don't want their fucking blood money super chats.
He's not misinterpreting anything. He told 100% the truth. And here you go again, talking about this whole blood money thing. Phil, you've probably banned somewhere around 1.5%, upwards of 2% of the entire YouTube population, bro. And you're going to try to tell me or us that those numbers don't have a direct effect on what you could potentially be generating? Are you kidding me right now? You have 220,000 subscribers, but on average, your videos get like 300 views. Don't you think that you would have a lot of trolls potentially? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not a whole lot, but a few watching that stuff just to leave troll comment, which will give you engagement. But you're so emotional, you can't just see past it.
I want a nice normal stream of normal people watching the content. And it used to be that these people used to watch the content here, and they don't anymore because someone else is producing it. So fuck it, I just won't make it. Cry me a river. Do you think I care that I'm not playing Battlefield? I don't give a fuck.
What do you mean somebody else is producing it? You're talking about people who are restreaming you. So their production is based off of yours. So it's not like you did nothing and they created a drama stream out of Battlefield that DSP did not play. They are showing you playing a game or having a rant about something. So you very much are still producing the content, Phil, whether you want to believe that or not. You can keep lying to yourself, but those lies don't work on us, bro, because we actually pay attention to the things that you say.
I'll go do stuff that's enjoyable to the audience. I don't, sir. See, here's the problem that people seem to understand. I'm not like these other lolcows who say, well, the only way I get views and the only way that I get support is essentially being self-deprecating, making fun of myself constantly, playing games that I know I suck at. That's the only way I can get views and support. So therefore, I have to force myself to do stuff I don't want to do. Wrong.
Actually, that's right. That's exactly what you do. We know and we can feel that your love for gaming left a very, very, very long time ago. There's not a single piece of enjoyment, excitement, or happiness coming off from you. The second you get on stream, you have this feeling as if you cannot wait to get off stream. So as much as you would like to come on here and try to convince everybody that you're having such a great time playing these games, Phil, we know you are miserable. And it's evident by the way you behave. So it doesn't matter what you say. You can say whatever you want. People are watching what you do.
That's not the truth at all. You may think that because you're a fucking idiot, just like you probably still think I'm fat, and you probably still think all these other, you think my wife left me? You think that I drink gin all day, every day? You're an idiot. You believe nonsense because you want to feel better about yourself because I'm better than you.
Now, I would like to ask the question of what are you better than us at? That would be my question, because you've been playing video games, streaming, and content creating for 2 decades now, and you're not good at it at all. So one can venture to say that any other thing that you would touch, you will be far worse at, because when we examine you, something that you're doing religiously daily, you're not good at. So what are the chances you're good at anything else? Hmm? So when you say you're better than us, what exactly are you talking about? I'd be very interested in the answer to that question.
Get it? So you have to make a narrative up that's not true. Okay, I can do good content for the audience that actually likes me and make a living doing it. I don't have to make the crappy rage bait content for trolls. I don't. And I'm not going to.
Then what is this? Like I said before, Phil struggles with the concept of who's friend and who's foe. So no matter what you say or how it's said, he's always going to filter it through a detractor type lens. He's going to think that you're trying to insult him initially before he ever views it as something that's noteworthy or something that he should take in, if he ever views it as something like that, right? Because he is so paranoid, and he's also very insecure. So when you say the things to him that he knows is true, he's going to react. That's why you don't have to pay money to troll this dude. Just say whatever you want to say, man. At some point, he gonna snap.
I gotta get Larry on the leaderboard. So Larry, listen, I appreciate your super chat, but I don't even know if you're a troll or not. I don't really care. It actually was a good point you brought up, honestly.
Now you see how the temperature has went down. You see now he's starting to reflect and look and say, damn, I responded a little too harshly to that. Let me take it back. Well, now it's too late, Phil. It's too late, because you don't understand the concept of first impressions. Now, I don't know who that guy was or how many times he's frequented your streams, but let's just say this is his first time. What do you think the outcome's going to be now? See, detractors don't make other detractors. You make other detractors. Detractor channels is just where the detractors congregate, but we are not creating them.
And I actually don't mind when people bring stuff up like that, because then we can get it out there and people can understand where I'm coming from and what we're talking about here. When I say, hey, people used to support that content, it didn't used to be, hey, people used to super chat, troll as shit, and I liked that. It was, hey, people just watched the content. Get it? And I got like ad revenue and stuff off of said content. So I didn't care that it was rage bait stuff. Jay Cadoodle did a $5 super chat and says Power Wash Simulator 2 is online co-op. You can play it with Cat for shield content.
Now he's about to go into the segment that I mentioned when this video first started with regard to Cat. Now I want you to pay attention to how he's talking about Cat when she's going to be playing the Power Wash Simulator. And I also want you to pay attention to how he shores up his point about Cat, his body language, and how he no longer has that conviction in his voice when speaking about her. There's a level of sadness and regret that's kind of shrouded around him. Pay attention.
Well, Kat's going to play it herself. I know that for a fact. She absolutely loved the first game. Okay, she did. She thought it was absolutely amazing. It was relaxing. It was fun, but also had a story. If you don't know, Power Wash Simulator actually has a mystery plot line that's funny and well written and pretty good. So I know that she would want to do that by herself as soon as it comes out. And it comes out in like a week and a half, I believe. Something like that. It's like the 23rd, I believe, of October. If we were to ever play it together, I doubt that we would make it public, because that's our own thing. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to do a co-op playthrough of that. No, we don't. If we do play it, we'll probably just do it offline and enjoy it.
Now, did you see that last portion where he said, if we do it, we probably just do it offline and enjoy it? Now, when you pay attention to the tone of his voice, it's very similar to the tone and pitch that he had during that one marathon when he was so drunk and crying on stream talking about how happy he was. It's almost as if he disassociated there for a hot second and then snapped back in. Just a little something that I caught. Now, I'm not saying Cat's gone. Who knows? But this guy is talking about moving around weightlifting equipment and rearranging rooms and all this other stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But I did think that was interesting.
There you go. Play RimWorld. It's October. It's Halloween horror month. There's a ridiculous amount of games that I could play that are horror themed on Steam right now because I'm a PC gamer. Hey, Phil, play RimWorld. Again, I'm just going to say it. The more that you guys basically like get at me for shit, right? Like I've told you a million times, I don't know if RimWorld would work. I'm not against playing it, but maybe we should play it sometime on a marathon or something, give it a taste or whatever, right? You know what I'm saying?
He's such an entitled brat. Now, you just said that for the next couple of days, you're going to be talking about what you should be playing because Battlefield 6, quote unquote, failed, right? Then you went on to say that, man, maybe we can grab something off Steam and try to fit something into the quote unquote rotation. So why is it such a bad thing that your audience is asking you to grab something from the backlog of something that they've been interested in this whole time? But to you, that's annoying. And that's why I talk about attrition, because resources for Phil are leaving faster than he can replenish them. And that's been the case for a long time. Even though that process has been very slow, it is still very much the process. It just doesn't make sense that you ask so much of these people, and when they ask you something as simple as playing the next game that they're interested in, you want to get an attitude like an entitled brat. Look at his face. This is why this guy deserves nothing. You need to get a damn job.
But when you just sit in chat and you spam RimWorld, when you demand it in contributions, then I don't want to do it anymore. Like, it's more annoying than anything. I don't want to be annoyed. If you can convince me to play it without being obnoxious, then maybe I would consider it.
Well, you just said that they said it in chat and they attached a super chat to it. So somebody paid you and asked you to play another game that you inevitably will make money for. So I'm trying to figure out what part of this is annoying. Furthermore, how would you like them to address the issue of you playing additional games? The only methods they have to communicate with you is your chat or donating to you and saying something in one of the messages. Would you like them to go get a letter notarized and sent to you, or would you like them to hit up your business email, Phil? Like, you're ridiculous, man. You said that there was space to put another game, and then they asked you about it, and your answer to them is you're annoying me. But you can't see how you begging people for money endlessly isn't annoying, right? And I know I shouted out the Tractor Red before, and this is going to be kind of a little shout out again, because we know Phil begs. We all know that. But when it's annotated and listed like that, you really get a feel for how disgusting this guy actually is. You beg on a loop. And I have no idea how you open your eyes every morning and commence to doing this every single day and try to convince us that you're so happy while doing it. You are out of your mind, dude.
But literally, I said, hey, this week, we only have a few streams, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday night. We got to figure out what we want to do. Maybe we'll do a few things off of Steam. RimWorld! But tomorrow...
You see, this is why people will continue to detract on you, because you're such an unreasonable person about every single situation. I don't care what the making process is. You're always going to pick the wrong sequence and the wrong decisions because the only person that you're thinking about is you. You don't even thinking about how maybe you might take a short-term loss and somehow that can turn into long-term gains. You're not even thinking like that. You're just thinking short-term gains the entire time. And you're wondering why you're having issues with attrition. You always will. And you can talk all you want about illegal restreamers and all that. Look, listen, Phil, part of the fun is people knowing you get upset because they're watching you without watching you. And that's always going to be a thing. And I'm not saying that if Raw, Phil, or whoever went away, that maybe you might not get a little bit of a boost. Sure, you would, right? I'm not going to deny that. But it would not be anything that you can sustain because at the end of the day, you're just not entertaining. You're entertaining in all the ways you would not like to be. And the more you fight and rail against that, the funnier it is. And you still don't get it. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Urban style content. I'm dead.